cannon. Switch flows, change the channel. This is smash like a hammer. I'm coming out like I am. Now who the boss, bitch, fly Anna? Get like me.
Hello. Thank you for joining me here for Talk About It Tuesday. And once again, forgot to get a pen. Okay, we're going to get into the breaking Trump news and all of that. Got a few recaps. Well, gotta go back a little bit to update you on some other stories. And okay. Here we go. Now, remember the movie Sound of Freedom and all the conservatives were going crazy like, how come nobody's talking about this? Y'all don't care about the kids. Why aren't we helping to protect the kids from child trafficking? And we were like, they never helped any kids from child trafficking. It's all a scam. And they're like, no, it's not. Coming from Forbes, Sound of Freedom inspiration Tim Ballard and film producer face allegations of sexual impropriety. From the vault of who didn't see this coming. Tim Ballard, the real-life inspiration for the controversial film Sound of Freedom, was reportedly investigated for sexual misconduct while leading anti-sex trafficking organization Operation Underground Railroad, and producer Paul Hutchinson reportedly felt the breast of an underage sex trafficking victim, according to Vice. First of all, never trust an organization that repurposes the name of something from marginalized people. Okay, that right there should tell you that they just scamming. Okay, they just need a name that's gonna pull at your heartstrings. Okay, this is gonna make you feel good. This is gonna make you think that your donation is doing something. It's not. So here are the key facts. Ballard, the founder and former CEO of Operation Underground Railroad, because remember they had already booted him before the film had even came out, reportedly resigned from the organization soon after an independent law firm investigated claims made by 7 women. Now, word on the street is that he was telling these women to pretend like they were married and they had to go all the way so that the sex traffickers would believe them. In no way am I victim shaming or victim blaming, but ladies, come on now. Even Tony DiNozzo and David on NCIS, when they had to play a hot and heavy couple because there was surveillance on them, they faked it. Sources close to the organization told Vice Ballard would encourage women to act as his wife on undercover rescue missions, urging them to share a bed and shower with him in order to fool traffickers. The sources told Vice Ballard sent a picture in his underwear to at least one woman and asked another how far she was willing to go to save children from traffickers. Y'all do know predators can't rescue you from predators, right? Okay. Ballard denied the allegations in a statement, calling them baseless inventions designed to destroy me, and maintained that sexual conduct was forbidden on sex trafficking missions. Hutchinson, an executive producer and investor for the Sound of Freedom and an anti-trafficking activist, allegedly touched the naked breast of a girl who was believed to be 16 years old during a 2016 undercover mission in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, according to another Vice report. Vice obtained transcripts of footage of the incident written by investigator Brian Purdy of the Davis County Attorney's Office, which details Hutchinson's lifting the girl's shirt, touching her breast, and kissing her on the cheek before she pushed his hands away and pulled her shirt down. Hutchinson reportedly asked one of the organization's operatives if he would get in big trouble from the Mexican authority for touching a 16-year-old on film, according to another transcript of footage. When contacted by Vice, Hutchinson did not dispute he felt the victim's breast, but he did claim to have an affidavit from Mexican federal police identifying her as 18 years old, though he did not provide the document to Vice when asked. It doesn't matter at this point how old she is. You lifted her shirt, touched her breast, and kissed her on the cheek. Lord have mercy, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I can't. But honey, that's not where it stops. From the Salt Lake Tribune, Utah Governor Spencer Cox. Now, you know this is bad when, listen to this full statement, but this is messed up. And I thought we were supposed to have a division of church and state. But like I said, Utah Governor Spencer Cox says LDS Church's condemnation of Tim Ballard is real. Allegations are incredibly disturbing. Utah Governor Spencer Cox hesitantly waded into the controversy surrounding anti-human trafficking activist Tim Ballard and his possible run for U.S. Senate next year, saying the allegations against Ballard, if true, are incredibly disturbing and unconscionable. First of all, for a church to come out and say what you did was unconscionable, they never do that. And then for them to distance themselves when usually they're trying to cover things, you did it. You did it. And I love how they're sending this about if true. Y'all know it's true. Did y'all catch that this is on film? Like, do you know how bold you have to be to not be like, oh, I messed up, but turn around and be like, do you think I'm gonna get in trouble in this country for it? This country right here. I should have saved that for the next country. That's what I should have did. Okay. I can't. Oh, no, I did have a pen. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of it, if you missed last night's TikTok live, just to go over the first live interview outside of January 6th of Miss Cassidy Hutchinson, it is up on this channel right now. Her second interview is tonight at 10 p.m. on MSNBC. Y'all know I will be checking it out. If it's not too late, because I don't know how long the interview is going to run. If it's not too late, I'll jump on TikTok live again and give you an update. If not, before or during the commercial breaks for tomorrow's debate, I'll fill you in on the stuff. But Mr. Menendez, Senator Menendez, has been indicted for the second time. For the primary, because you know he's up for election, he now has an opponent, and his opponent is Andrew Kim. So let me give y'all the rundown on Mr. Andrew Kim. Andrew Kim, born July 12th, that's my granny's birthday, 1982, is a former diplomat and is currently the representative for New Jersey's 3rd District in the House of Representatives. As far as his education, in 2000, he graduated from Cherry Hill East High School. In 2004, he graduated from the University of Chicago with a degree in political science. He is a Rhodes Scholar, and he studied international development at Magdalen College, Oxford. As far as work experience, while in college, he was an intern at the United States Agency for International Development. He worked for the State Department as a civilian advisor to generals, plural, David Petraeus and John R. Allen while in Afghanistan. He was also a national security advisor under President Obama, and he has been in the House of Representatives since 2018. And with that bid and subsequent elections, he has done so with the endorsement of Obama, Biden, and the New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy. And hold on, we got more information on him, because Mr. Kim does sound like quite the solid gentleman here. So regarding his tenure, Kim's first official action during his tenure was to vote for Nancy Pelosi as United States Speaker of the House, but he voted against her nomination during a November 2018 Democratic caucus meeting. He cited the need to reopen the government amid the ongoing government shutdown for his decision to back Pelosi. Smart move. In February 2019, Kim introduced his first bill, the Strengthening Healthcare and Lowering Prescription Drug Cost Act, the SAVE Act. In May, the SAVE Act passed the House 234 to 183. The bill, designed to lower prescription drug costs and included a provision to prohibit brands from stopping generic versions of the drugs from being sold on the market, was not expected to pass the Senate. and we know how that goes. But like I said, so far, solid. I wasn't able to find anything disparaging regarding him, his wife. They got some cute little kids, but let's keep going. In June 2019, Kim co-sponsored an amendment to stop a pay raise for members of Congress. In April 2020, House leadership appointed Kim to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis. As of November 2021, Kim had voted in line with Joe Biden's stated position 100% of the time of the recording, 538. As far as policing, in 2020, Kim co-sponsored and voted for the Justice and Policing Act. Regarding insider trading within Congress, Kim supports banning members of Congress from trading stocks, saying in December 2021 that he disagreed strongly with Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who defended the practice. And many of you may know his face and not his name. He was featured in a picture after the January 6th insurrection, helping to clean up the Capitol. Menendez, go ahead and step down. Go ahead and step down. We got a better person that can get in there. This man has been doing the thing. Like I said, I went down many rabbit holes. I called people that I knew in New Jersey. I was randomly atting people on Twitter to see if they heard anything bad about him. I went back through other congressmen's like social media to see if there was any beefs going on, if anybody's taking any jabs on him. There's nothing. There is nothing. If you're looking for a politician who's really in it to help people, it's looking like it's Mr. Kim. It's looking like it's Mr. Kim. I'm gonna keep looking. And y'all know, whatever I find, I'm gonna bring it to you. But he looking like New Jersey. He should get your vote. I'm just saying. I'm just a little advice. You know, you could share your pudding cup with him, okay? Now, on to Mr. Menendez. Now, remember when we went over this Friday, the last time he was indicted, when we went over that, Cory Booker stood behind him. Cory Booker is not standing beside him and has asked him to resign. Now, you may have heard some reports where people are saying this is a very difficult decision for Cory Booker, and let me explain why. In the House of Representatives, especially in New Jersey, there's only 2 reps. So you're kind of like sibling representatives. You become homeboys. You become very comfortable. And you kind of have to say, somebody in my state messed up. We're not having proper representation. But also regarding the Menendez indictment, it goes without saying that the behavior that he's exhibited now for the second time is extremely corrupt and dangerous behavior. But I want to bring something to you all's attention. As defiant as Mr. Menendez is being in regards to stepping down, aka resigning, the ethics committee rules for the Senate are very clear. So he may be able to grandstand for a little bit longer, but he might just be put out, because specifically from the ethics committee rules, Rule 43 said there can be no connection between your Senate work and your financial ties. And keep in mind, I'm paraphrasing these rules. Okay, if I read them out how they were written, we would be here till tomorrow. And rule number 35, and this is called the gifts rule or the gifts clause. No member can accept gifts unless valued at less than $50. The only exceptions to this $50 rule, if somebody walks up and gives you a baseball cap, because, you know, baseball caps have all different types of prices attached to them and you may not know, but they say, yeah, you can accept that. Not gold bars and envelopes after envelopes after envelopes of cash, not furniture, not air purifiers, not exercise equipment, and definitely not a Mercedes-Benz. I promise you, some people just don't learn. Now, the rules, keep in mind, the new senators are mentored regarding the ethics committee's rules within their first term. They aren't just given the rules and was like, hey, interpret them how you want to. They're mentored on this. This is drilled into them. It's made sure that they firmly understand, that they firmly comprehend what the rules are. There's no sidestepping. There's no gray area. There's no, oh, did nobody explain that to me? No, not how that goes. And what a lot of people need to really take into account in regards to national elections and elections happening on any level regarding the Democratic Party. These indictments against Menendez, plus him refusing to step down, could have a negative ripple effect nationally for the Democrats. Now, the one balancing or kind of saving grace is the fact that Democrats are condemning his behavior and asking him to step down. They say that they understand, innocent until proven guilty. But you need to focus on the case, bro, man. And that brings us to this graphic. Now, given that, and we're up to 19 now, top Democrats asking him to step down is, as we know, a stark contrast to how the GOP is handling Trump. And we got to number 19 when Mr. Gary Peterson, who is the head of the Democrats' Senate campaign committee, also asked Menendez to step down. So you got your brother, senator, and the governor of your state asking you to step down. And now they're not even going to help you campaign. But I guess. But here's some information I really want to bring to your attention. Because when talking about patterns, we already know that in 2015, he was indicted. 2017, the trial began, and then there was a hung jury. But there's more that goes into a pattern of behavior than things like that. So let me add some more context into his pattern of behavior. Now, first of all, in 2017, when he was first indicted the last time, he was the first senator in 35 years to be charged with bribery. Remember, that resulted in a hung jury. But let's go back. Let's go back those 35 years. On April 28th, 1981, Mr. Robert Menendez was a witness in the bribery case of his mentor, politician William V. Musto. Musto was charged with racketeering, extortion, and fraud. And it was so rampant that Menendez had to wear a bulletproof vest during his testimony. But his brazenness may have come from not just beating his own charges, but Musto was found guilty and sentenced to 7 years in prison. Guess what happened while Musto was in prison? He won his 5th term as mayor while in prison. Nothing says the voting basis in the United States perplexes me more than this shit. See, there's a long-standing pattern of behavior and Menendez being around corruption, and corruption that hasn't exactly been properly taken care of and taken seriously. Now, before we get into this Trump stuff, because that's going to take a minute, we know that a shutdown is still pretty much inevitable at this point. Everybody's saying that it's looming. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. The Senate is preparing a clean CR. Simply stated, it would be a short-term budget bill that would avoid a shutdown and allow for more time to negotiate a proper budget. It would not include funding for Ukraine. But here's a caveat. If McCarthy does not take it to the House floor for a vote, the shutdown is going to happen anyway. And Matt Gaetz is being very vocal and very public about the fact that he will not agree to anything that McCarthy puts forward. Like, this is getting more and more childish by the day. And Gaetz also says that he has a list of immovable members that will do the same. Like I said last night, this isn't about the people. This isn't about grandstanding. This isn't even about further political aspirations of Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is pissed off that he got cock-blocked. But part of what the Free Dum Dum Caucus is willing to go for are these slashes. $1 million removed from low-income mothers and young kids forced onto a wait list for nutritional aid. 70% cut to home heating assistance right ahead of winter, and an 80% cut in funding for public schools with high concentrations of students in poverty. They want you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but they keep not only ripping the soles off the boots, but cutting the straps. Anybody tell me how anything on this list is supposed to help the American people. And keep in mind, the voter base that they're pushing for their support fall into this. Republican voters barely know how the government works. They just believe anything. If you tell them the Democrats did this to you, they'll believe it. There are Republican voters who believe that the last 3 shutdowns in 6 years, because we're coming up on our 4th one, were the fault of Democrats. Each time, those previous 3, it's been because the GOP has been in control. The GOP has been the holdouts. The GOP has had this stupid grandstanding going on. Now, unless you were under a rock today, you know that Joseph Robinette Biden made history today by being the only, making him the first, United States president to join strikers during a labor dispute. Now, during his visit, there was a period of time where he was shaking hands and talking to people. It did appear that he was asked if he agreed with the 40% increase for workers. It did appear that he agreed. Now, they've already taken stills from his visit and have been pushing it through campaigns online. But to update you on the strike, Ford has paused construction on a Michigan battery plant. This is due to controversy surrounding the fact that they would be utilizing parts from China. Ford has continued its negotiations with the union, and from a recent Gallup poll, although I hate polls, they do keep popping up in the news and everybody keeps talking about them, so got to bring them to the people. 70% of the United States does agree with the people on strike. So let's make sure before we get to the Trump stuff. And just a reminder, the podcast tomorrow will be at the same time because hopefully they will start on time for the second GOP debate. But the debate is going to be at the same time. So we'll just go through it like we did the last time. The participants this time will be Doug Burgum, Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott. What to look for? Let's see if they will finally address Trump and Representative Gosar's statements that General Milley deserves the death penalty for not being loyal to Trump. And will Trump's claims that MSNBC is treasonous be addressed? Also, pay attention to see if it is addressed finally why there is no official call for Trump to back out of the race, especially since it's been confirmed multiple times that none of them really like Trump. And see if they are asked about their views on the Freedom Caucus's stronghold that is leading to the government shutdown. Whoops. And before we move on, there was a proposal made regarding the government shutdown to kind of help them from not getting to this point ever again. Take a look.
Democratic representative just introduced a bill that would make it so that Congress doesn't get paid during a government shutdown. Let's make a call. We're going to call our one House representative, and you can call 202-224-3121. That's the Capitol Hill switchboard. Yeah, can I speak to my House representative, please? Yeah, my name is Jessica Craven. I am a constituent from Los Angeles, and I am calling because I understand that Representative Angie Craig has introduced a new bill that would temporarily strip away the paychecks of members of Congress during a government shutdown. It's got a nifty name. It's the My Constituents Cannot Afford Rebellious Tantrums, Handle Your Shutdown Act. It's also known as the McCarthy Shutdown Act. I'm just calling to say that I support this bill, and I really hope the representative will as well, because it seems really unfair that Congress should still get paid during a completely unnecessary government shutdown when government workers don't. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Okay, bye.
Yeah, there's currently no incentive for them to stop doing this stuff. But ensuring that they do not get paid in the event of a government shutdown, because they seem to always get that part of the budget worked out, that is a start. I think the next phase should be them earning, as members of Congress, the median wage of their representation. Because nothing says you'll get that shit together when you're reminded of how much a loaf of bread is. Because right now, far too many of them have forgotten. Far too many of them have forgotten. It's beyond the five. Others will give pushback, and we're looking beyond just this one government shutdown. They still want to get paid. That's why they're consistently putting in the budget raises for themselves. Now, real quick, update on Vivek Ramaswamy.
You gained citizenship through birthright then,
but you gain citizenship through birthright, citizenship in that sense too, right? I mean,
So Vivek Ramaswamy's parents were not citizens when he was born. His dad is still not a citizen, but he got citizenship through being born. Some would call that birthright citizenship. Another Vivek clip.
To end birthright citizenship.
But does that mean you deport like a 1-year-old?
I think you would do the family. You would take the whole family unit. So
Now, in that clip, Vivek is talking about children born in the USA who are born to parents of illegal immigrants. Then where do you draw the line of birthright? Like, if someone came here on a travel visa, technically they came here legally, and then if they have a kid, do they get birthright? So he didn't make it clear how his parents were here without citizenship, and he was born and given birthright.
There might be some Einstein visas in the mix. Might be. Just speculation. Now, before we get into Trump and the news out of New York State right now, let's get into Trump's faux pas leading up to the news. Pay close attention.
So the people Donald Trump associates himself with, they're not any smarter than he is. Today, he went to a gun store and he's standing around holding a Glock with someone. And he's like, you know what? I want to buy a Glock. I think I'm going to buy a Glock. Yeah, I'm going to buy a Glock. And one of his campaign spokespersons posted that video. Check it out.
They like it. I'm going to buy one. Sir, have you won this one? No, I want to buy one. I want to buy one. Can I get one?
So then after that video, that same spokesperson tweeted, Trump bought a Glock today. So then people were coming out and saying, hey, Trump is under indictment. He's not supposed to be able to buy a gun. So what does the spokesperson do? He deletes all of the tweets and the videos. Too late. We all have them already. And then he tells CNN, just kidding, Trump didn't buy a Glock today. The jokes write themselves with these people. Like, this is bad. This is as bad as that recording of Donald Trump saying, hey, look at all these classified documents I have. I never declassified them. Like, talk about the poorly educated. The reason why Trump likes the poorly educated so much, because he is the perfect representative of them. My goodness. Period. Okay, so earlier today, Marjorie Taylor Greene was standing around with the guy she's fornicating with, who's on RSBN or Newsmax or one of those. Brian Glenn is his name. And they're bragging about how Donald Trump bought a gun today. Marjorie's like, yeah, I was with Donald Trump today. He went gun shopping. He found a nice gun with his beautiful face on it. And then Brian Glenn goes, yes, I was there. And I can confirm for you that he did buy a gun. Listen to the video closely.
President Trump found a gun he liked. It was a Glock, and it had a beautiful picture of him on the side of the Glock, and he said, I'd like to buy this gun.
I heard him say that, and I was behind him when he said it, and I said, well, I think he said he wants to buy that gun, so we can confirm that President Trump
I got a picture for you.
He got that gun today.
Look, let me show you. It's
great.
great.
And he said, I'd like to buy this gun. I heard him say that. I was standing right behind him. You guys heard that, right? He literally said, we can confirm that President Trump got that gun today. Brian Glenn said that. Marjorie Taylor Greene even tweeted this picture today. She said, yeah, President Trump doing a little bit of shopping. He's going to protect our Second Amendment rights. Well, Brian Glenn, who just said, I can confirm for you that he bought that gun, he tweeted this later on after everyone said, hey, Donald Trump is under indictment. He can't buy a gun. He tweeted this. Get off Donald Trump's back. He didn't buy that gun. I was there. Yeah, we know. You said on video you were there and you can confirm that he bought the gun. And now you're tweeting that you can confirm that he did not buy the gun. So at the least, these people think you're stupid and they're lying to you. But at worst, Donald Trump bought that gun and now they're trying to cover it up. And believe me, there were a lot of cameras there. There will be receipts. We are going to find out if they're just liars or he's a felon and they're liars. Period.
Yeah, because with, all these ongoing criminal cases, they're going to subpoena that paperwork and they're going to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. But let's not forget, that's not the only stupid move that Trump and his camp have made recently, not even just today. So, remember, Jack Smith asked for a judge to impose a narrow gag order on Trump so that Trump couldn't threaten people online, etc. The attorneys for Trump claimed that the narrow gag order is to silence him and wants the judge to throw out the order that Smith requested. The attorneys claimed in a written brief that Trump has never attacked anyone and has never incited or tried to incite violence. I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. They said it with their whole chest. As if he's not doing this shit every day, every chance he gets. But on to the great, great big news of the day. Now, remember last week I told you that regarding the New York State fraud case, both the Attorney General's office and Trump's attorneys filed for a summary decision, right? A summary judgment. Well, there was a partial summary judgment handed down today. And it wasn't what Trump thought it was going to be. Now, keep in mind, this is a civil case, okay? And this was a partial summary judgment. The trial will still commence on Monday because there are 6 other issues to be handled, including if Trump and his boys will be fined and how much the fine will be. So the judge found that Trump committed fraud via the summary judgment filings. Now, the trial regarding the fraud itself was bypassed due to the summary judgment request, like I said, on both sides, and due to the fact that the fraud was extremely clear and undeniable. The judge outlined this in an almost 40-page decision. It boiled down to a ledger issue. Trump inflated the value of properties. And this is how he did it. He wanted higher property values for the sake of collateral and insurance purposes, but then would lower the values for the sake of tax purposes. Now, this decision could cause additional charges within the criminal case out of New York from Alvin Bragg's. It has not been done yet. May not be done, or it may be done. The judge vehemently denied Trump's dismissal request. Excuse me. The judge also canceled all business certificates for Trump and his family members, and by family members, it is Don Jr. and Eric. Ivanka was not named at all, but remember, Ivanka had petitioned the court and had said some stuff to the court. So, excuse me, I guess some way, somehow she got out of this, even though she's been an executive and sat on the board of the Trump org for all this time. For the family members, Weisselberg, the former CFO, and Jeffrey McConney. Within the next 10 days, excuse me, I don't know why I got the sneezes all of a sudden. Within the next 10 days, the Trumps have to dissolve their New York-based businesses and LLC. 3 people must be named to oversee the dissolution. Also, there were money sanctions placed on a variety of Trump attorneys, and these attorneys were each fined $7,500. And we're going to come back to why they were sanctioned. And for the next 5 years, no loans can be taken out or granted to Trump in New York State. Now, Trump even claimed that some of the properties were in places that they were not in. Trump and his lawyers, now this is according to the almost 40-page document that came down from the judge. Trump and his lawyers engaged in bogus arguments and obstreperous conduct. Trump at times is in a fantasy world and not the real world, and the fraud in the businesses. Fraud was found in the businesses and actions of Trump. Trump was involved in the fraudulent inflating of property values. Like his Seven Springs property, yeah, the value he put on that was astronomical. And Trump continues to disseminate false and misleading information. Now, the legal team was sanctioned and fined because the legal team attempted to misrepresent the law in their favor. Now, we've talked about this before, how all these Trump attorneys who work around attorneys and judges who used to be attorneys and try to gaslight them about the law as if they are the general public. And this judge was like, we're having none of that. We're not playing those games here. And keep in mind, when Trump was pulled in before regarding this case, he pled the fifth over 400 times. Now, upon the dissolution of the Trump organization and the LLCs, the assets will be sold off, and then creditors and the state will be paid. Trump really needs to stop fucking around, because I don't think he wants to find out. And this has huge, huge ramifications, not just for other trials that he has going on, but for his reputation and his ego, because from the beginning, Trump has touted himself on, being the best businessman and, the art of the deal and having all this money. Let's not forget that a man, and I don't know how so many people bought this story, talking about his father gave him a small loan. You inherited everything from your father, including the business. You just changed the name of the business. You didn't get a small loan, and $1 million isn't a small loan. Your daddy had to keep coming out of his personal pocket to save you from your bad business practices. But I wouldn't want to be a Trump supporter right now, because I don't even want to know the mental gymnastics they're about to put themselves through and how they're about to mentally contort themselves to try to deny this. Because remember, one of their biggest talking points is Trump is a billionaire. He's such a successful businessman. He didn't even take a salary as president. Now, as gratifying and slightly shocking as that news was, that wasn't even the craziest or most shocking bit of news that I stumbled upon today. It's not. Ralph Nader, name you haven't heard from in a while, right? Ralph Nader has publicly come out and said that he is wary of Trump and has offered to support Biden because, and I quote, fascism is what the GOP is the architect of. I mean, he's not wrong. I'm just, when I say I didn't see that coming, I didn't see that coming. So coming from thehill.com, Nader says he'll support Biden. I know the difference between fascism and autocracy. In an interview with the Washington Post released Monday, former Green Party presidential candidate Ralph Nader said he is supporting President Biden's 2024 re-election bid. Nader made it clear that he won't be formally endorsing Biden, still supports third parties in principle, and personally praises likely Green Party candidate Cornel West. Don't do that. But he has little hope for the party's chances as a whole in the upcoming election. I know the difference between fascism and autocracy, and I'll take autocracy anytime, Nader said in a telephone interview with the Post. Fascism is what the GOP is the architect of, and autocracy is what the Democrats are practitioners of. But autocracy leaves an opening. They don't suppress votes. They don't suppress free speech. Now, I know that the pseudo-tyrannical Christians told us 2 different dates in the past week that the rapture was going to happen. Do you think that they were just bad at predicting hell freezing over? But small caveat. Have y'all noticed that all these separate parties, Green Party, Pink Party, Tea Party, all of these parties always want to make their presence known during a presidential election and then sit back and act all verklempt at the fact that their candidate didn't get more votes. No one knows who you are. No one knows what your platforms are, what you stand for. It has always boggled my mind while these third, fourth, all these other parties don't start at local elections. Start with your assemblymen, your aldermen, your council members, your mayors. Get people accustomed to you and work your way up to the presidency. Like, why do y'all think that these elections are going to be like Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics? This isn't 1862 where they're just now figuring this shit out and everybody legitimately has a shot. Like back then, you could call yourself a member of the rigmarole party and it could be 3 of you motherfuckers sitting in somebody's back room in their saloon sipping absinthe. And you could make it into Congress or become president. Like, better planning, people. Better planning. But yeah, I did not have Ralph Nader popping out to support anybody, let alone Biden. Because I still remember that press conference in 2000. And he is the Grinch that will steal every election. And I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. Okay. I am not mad at him. Do we need more options? Yes, but you have to start the options from the ground up. That's like trying to go out for your first job and become the CEO of the damn company. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I did, but I don't. The confidence of white men got all the confidence and audacity, but now, one more little quick story on Trump, because why not? Coming from the Business Insider, a phone call between Trump and conservative tech billionaire Peter Thiel reportedly turned pretty contentious. Yeah, they tired of your shit, Trump. And with all these indictments, you can't be their puppet again. You can't help them. You took down some regulations before, you did this and you did, but you're not going to be able to do it this time. They're not going to be as patient and as gracious and benevolent as they were with you before. But let's get into it. Here are the key points from the article. Tech investor Peter Thiel had a heated phone call in recent months with Donald Trump, Puck reported. Thiel was a vocal Trump supporter and rallied voters at the Republican National Convention in 2016. Thiel's public support for Trump wavered in recent years, and apparently Trump noticed. No shit. And the further we get into these cases and testimony from people under oath, where they're forced to say the stuff that they've had to keep secret, it's just confirmation that Trump's loyalty goes one way. He wants you to be loyal to him. And like I've been saying for years now, Trump really thinks that he is the Godfather. He really thinks that he has an offer you can't refuse. Like what? No, you cannot be CEO tomorrow, Sabrina. Unless you want to come in and work for me tomorrow, because your girl needed that. I've been running on fumes for like, I don't even know how many weeks at this point. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. If y'all hear that I fell asleep in the parking lot one day, just act like you ain't here, because I am that level of loopy tired, but yeah. Now, real quick, I do have an update on you all. Update for you all. I promise y'all I can talk. I promise. Y'all been here before. You know I can talk. Just having some trouble tonight. If you remember the story out of Cleveland, Ohio, where, when they were having like the little Orby gun challenge thing, and Ethan Lyman unfortunately lost his life. There is an update regarding the case. Let me go ahead and put that up there. Here we go.
This is an update in the criminal trial for the death of Ethan Lyman. Just to recap, on a summer evening in June of 2022, Ethan Lyman and his friends were driving around the city of Akron, Ohio, shooting people at random with a water bead gel blaster gun. Ethan and his friends pull into the parking lot of the I Promise school, where a group of young men were innocently playing basketball, and Ethan's group ambushed them and shot them with projectiles. At the time of the shooting, the young men thought they were being shot at with real guns. So, in self-defense, the three young men, brothers Tyler and Deshaun Stafford, and their cousin Donovan Jones, confronted Ethan and his friends. During the confrontation, a fight ensued. Ethan fell and took a fatal blow when he hit his head on the pavement. The medical examiner ruled that his death was as a result of hitting the pavement, not from the actual fight. The Akron Police Chief Steve Milet spun a narrative from the beginning that was rooted in racist stereotype and implied that this was an unprovoked, violent attack on Ethan Lyman. And if you search anything about this case, this is one of the main photos that comes up. Donovan Jones and Tyler and Deshaun Stafford were originally charged with murder and felonious assault, and each of them were held on a $1 million bond. Personally, I have no doubts that the unmitigated character assassination of Donovan Jones and Tyler and Deshaun Stafford by the Akron Police Department was a significant factor in the excessive charges and bond. It wasn't until more details about the incident came out, showing that Ethan Liming and his friends were actually the aggressors in this situation, that a grand jury indicted the three men on lesser charges. The brothers were indicted on involuntary manslaughter and assault. Back in October of 2022, Donovan Jones was sentenced on 2 misdemeanor assault charges after he pled no contest. And the judge sentenced him to a suspended jail sentence of 180 days. The charges facing Deshaun included 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, first and third degree felonies, which, if convicted, carried a sentence of up to 11 years for the first degree and 3 years for the third degree. He was also facing 1 charge of aggravated assault, a 4th degree felony, and 1 charge of assault, which was a 1st degree misdemeanor. Charges that Tyler was facing included 1 count of involuntary manslaughter, 3rd degree felony, and assault, a 1st degree misdemeanor. After several days of jury deliberations, and at one point the jury being deadlocked on a couple of the charges, Tyler and Deshaun Stafford were found not guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the death of Ethan Liming. Deshaun Stafford was found guilty of 1 charge of aggravated assault and 1 charge of assault. He was also found not guilty on one of the involuntary manslaughter charges, and a mistrial was declared in the other involuntary manslaughter charge. Tyler was acquitted of involuntary manslaughter, but was found guilty of assault. Sentencing for these charges is scheduled for October 26th. From what I found online, a 4th degree felony of aggravated assault carries a maximum fine of $5,000 and a prison term of 6 to 18 months. It also says that a judge may sentence them to probation, community service, or other conditions, depending on the circumstances. I also assume that they'll get time served because they spent quite a bit of time in jail prior to their charges being downgraded from murder charges. This case has been a point of extreme division amongst our local community for over a year. I have multiple videos about this case that I posted back when it happened, where I stated that this was a self-defense case, and where I stated that I didn't believe these men should be punished for simply defending themselves against a literal assault. And don't come at me saying that what Ethan and his friends did was an assault, because police departments around this country have released statements saying that these social media challenges, people are shooting people with these water bead gel blaster guns, how it is considered criminal assault. So don't come at me. But my personal opinion is that they should have been found not guilty on all charges, but I'm just glad that they were found not guilty on the involuntary manslaughter charges. Let me know what you think in the comments about the jury's verdict. My opinion is that if the roles were reversed and if Tyler and Deshaun Stafford were white and Ethan were black, I don't even think that this ever would have went to trial. I think that it would have been ruled self-defense from the beginning. And unfortunately, the statistics are in favor of my theory. So yeah, that's my opinion.
And if you do not follow Destiny Star, make sure that you do. She's absolutely right. And I also want to point out an even bigger problem, because racists always love to talk about violence within Black cities and Black communities. It's no secret that Cleveland, Ohio is known for being predominantly Black. Where they were playing basketball at is a predominantly Black area in Cleveland. Those white teenagers went out of their way to invoke violence against Black teenagers. And this happens a lot. And then the actions of the white aggressors are excused away or completely ignored. And that context is rarely brought up. And when I say that statistics are skewed, they are. Because without skewed statistics, what would racists have to spew at us? What would they have left to hurl? Because people deciding to go to a park, a playground, a rec center, they're going with the intention of working out, having fun, blowing off some steam. Nobody's going there with the intention of, I'm going to take a life today. When people go to the grocery store, there's a purpose behind it. But notice how all these white individuals historically, but you're getting a glimpse of it now in 4K because there's cameras everywhere now, how they're seeking out predominantly Black areas and places where people would have their guard down. Because if Black neighborhoods are so riddled with violence, everybody would be on heightened alert at all times. How are all of these people sitting ducks? Because every member of the military, current and previous, they tell me that if they're on a base in the United States, they're not on high alert. When they're in war zones or hostile nations, oh, definitely high alert. They're not cool, calm, and collected till they hit United States soil again. So if Black neighborhoods specifically are so riddled with violence, how come everybody isn't on high alert at all times? Or as my daddy would say, having their head on a swivel at all times. Oh, child. Now, like I said, in about 2 minutes, the second interview from Miss Cassidy I promise y'all I can talk today. Miss Cassidy Hutchinson will be taking place on MSNBC. If you watch, you watch. If you don't, I'm going to bring you the tea. So like I said, if it's not too late, I'll pop on to a TikTok live. If not, like I said, I'll update you as we go through tomorrow's GOP debate. I have not heard of any shenanigans Trump is trying to pull like he did the last time, but I'll keep looking. If you find anything, as always, let me know. Much appreciated. Thank you. But as always, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video. Keep in mind, Tastic Tuesdays, the audio podcast is up and running. There's also a new blog up. And I want to end just with this because we did get a little heavy tonight. So I got to bring you some laughter. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Till tomorrow.
Hey, Arby's, let me ask you something right quick. Bitch, what? When y'all actually get a customer, do you just assume that they need directions? For real, bitch? Yeah, that's real funny, bitch. Hey, real quick, you want to know what else is funny? I own both of y'all. Huh? Bitch, I own both of y'all. Nuh-uh. Honestly, I don't even understand why y'all are surprised. I own everything. Bitch, that is not true. You don't own Bitch, you own me? I do, bitch. Man, y'all some sorry-ass bitches letting this punk ass son of a bitch! Bitch, there is no way. There is no... Bitch, just let us make our pretzels in peace. No! Bitch, how are you doing? You are pure evil, Arby's. Not like this. Not like... I fucking hate it here. Bitch, I ain't afraid of you. I'm a real restaurant. That's right, Arby's. You can't own greatness, bitch. And apparently you can. Shit! I don't wanna. Look, Arby's, you don't even want to own me, bud, okay? I have my own problems. Arby's, fuck you, your meat slicer, and your immaculate curly fries. Well, that didn't help. Fuck. You don't scare me, Arby's. You only own a small part of me. That's true, bitch. For now. Dude, I'm so fucking scared. Hey, bitches, what y'all up to? Wait, Subway, run! Bitch, what just happened? You a diabolical bitch, Arby's. Ha-ha. We have the meats. Think outside the bun. Wait, can he do that? Bitch, I'm coming to Houston, Atlanta, and Brooklyn, New York. Click the link in the bio!